Folks, episode 11 of Dorohedoro is here. Need I say more?
No, just press play. We're
There
almost
we
done.
go.
We're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there.
We are almost there. Oh shit, what the? Alright, listen, it's been a crazy morning. People's limbs have been flying around. After you chopped his limbs off, bro.
Wait, you just picked him up though.
Yeah, but that's actually shocking.
Today is just too much.
Searchers. Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. No, man. I just realized the demon horns on her head. Wait, what?
Yeah, he's torturing her. So this is great for Nikaido.
Poison tea. What in the absolute? Oh my god.
Zip boss.
There we go. There we go. Low, mid, and high. Yeah. Yo. So he gets thrown into hell.
Crazy visual.
Yo. So it's not an instant death, yeah. But that other guy got his whole ankles cut off, so he's probably dead.
Well, he's only alive because his rage kept him alive.
Yeah. Backing them up. This is how his family began. Chapter 2, the enemy. 30 years total right now. But like, there was a situation earlier taking their head. Oh wait, no, this is different. Hold on. No, it's the same. It's the same. Hold on. And they're I'd be like, bro, like I'm trying to process this all right now, but I'm like, wait a minute. Oh my god. But luckily, Noi's abilities. God damn. Oh. 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 They're innards.
Mind you,
yeah.
his innards are just like.
Yeah. And that headless man is Kaiman. Because Kaiman's head was literally cut off and grew fucking back. So then who the fuck is Risu? like, wait a minute. Like, so you can turn back time? Oh, that's their one of the, that's what Kaiman's real power is. Like, yes. Oh man.
His look. I'm just like, keep his look in your mind. Keep that look of Kaiman in your mind.
What the?
私は3日前に入籍した丹波の妻でございます。何？それはおめでとう。名前は
Hyman. Oh my god.
丹波さん、お元気そうね。
Who does?
誰？
パイマンさんの前にうちで働いていた人ですよ。
アスカ、なんでお前がここにいるんだ。
私、新しくお店を持ったの。パイの。あんた。
Refer to it.
Oh.
彼女は丹波社長に
Oh no. No. No, you fucking it up, my brother.
でかい。本当に女なの。
とにかくお前は今日から勝負。
But what if he wins? That's all he does is just hits the spot.
Darling.
Oh my god. Such a controlling husband.
さん元気ありませんね。
Bro.
おはよう、丹波さん。
Over.
今日も
Wow.
ご夫婦仲がよろしくって微笑ましいですわね。
Not the laugh.
本当はもう分かってたんだ。
Ay, ay, ay.
魔法使いだってこと。
Hmm.
認めたくなかっただけなんだ。俺に人間だと嘘をついて。
Man.
あいつ思ったより元気そうだし、焦って助けに来ることもなかったかな。
Oh, what's out now, bro?
社長、パイ30個上がりました。
おう、すぐに行列ができるぜ。
お、社長、早速お客さんが。
よし、来やがれ。
あの店だ、
あれ。
Yeah.
アスカの特製アップルパイ1つ、俺3つ。
押さないで。まだまだあるわよ。
まだ12時になったばかりだが、早くも勝敗は消しているようだな。
早く食わせろ。美味しいアップルパイをどうぞ。
それにしても甘くていい香りで。
Ah!
これ買ってきます。
I mean, that's all puns intended. I'm just saying.
先輩が肉より甘いもんとは珍しいな。
A 様もキノコ以外のものを。
私の分も買ってこい。
ねえねえ、あなたどうするの？
Asuka's probably working overtime.
ちょっと偵察に行ってきます。
You can't resist her smoke.
まあまあかな。
並んで食うほどのもんか。
アスカさんって素敵だと思いません？
何？
いい女だな。俺もそう思ってたところ。
Yo.
もっとアスカさんのパイが食べたいな。
たくさん買えば。
Fruits and apple pies, Jesus.
エンジェル、パイがもっといるわ。
Angels. I mean, it makes sense that because we have devils here, but
アスカの魔法はエンジェルっていう化け物を出して男を虜にしまう。
okay.
So gross. Look at it.
男どもを呼び寄せ、パイを食わせて魔法にかけてるんだろう。
Bro. This is your chance, bro.
二階堂が一人だ。
行けよ。チャンスは今しかねえぞ。
でも今店を放っていったら。
Now you care about the
お前
shop?
もいてもいなくてもこの状況は変わらん。
なんだぞ。じゃあ本当に行くぜ。店あんま手伝えなかったな。
気にすんな。こっちもまだバイト代1000も払ってねえしな。
そうか。
エンさんはキノコしか食べないと聞いたので、特製ジロール竹のパイを用意しました。
おお、ジロール竹。うまい。
Who might? Yeah. He said you win immediately.
そんな簡単に。社長、あんなパイを用意してあったんですね。
へへ、当然よ。
丹波、何見てなさいよ。
You had a generational lead.
魔法をかけたなんて知れたらぶっ殺されるわ。
She had legitimately a generational lead though, and still fumbled.
二階堂。
Uh-oh.
そうかよ。何があったか知らねえが、ついてこねえなら力ずくで引きずっていくぞ。
できるかな
Not like this. And then we get fucking Blackpink in your area with Boombaya out here. Come on, son. All right, folks. Look, N's backstory was actually pretty funny because it was a biography in a form of a movie. You know, and his goals were literally like I said earlier, he's like all for one, bro. Like, he was discarded. He was just like, you know what, I gotta do what I gotta do. The biggest thing for me was the confirmation of tiers of sorcerers, classes of sorcerers, from low grade sorcerers, mid grade sorcerers, high grade sorcerers, which I was talking about in the previous episode, because I was like, it would just make more sense because they was calling Nikaido a great sorcerer, so there has to be a different tier of sorcerer going on. Maybe even great sorcerers above high tier sorcerer, who knows. So that would be more interesting, you know, as we go along. But the main reason why N wanted a sorcerer that could control time is to go back to the point, you know, 6 years ago in his life where he fought against possibly Kaiman, possibly like what we've seen about Kaiman and his head being chopped off and then it growing back and whatnot. It's kind of crazy. I'm just saying, you know, everything we've learned, and then it's a hint, and not even it gives more of a hint that it's Kaiman, but more so, what is the full extent of Risu's powers? Well, I guess you could say Kaiman's powers, that as well. If Kaiman, and if we can officially say that Kaiman and Risu are one and the same, but we still have that Risu running around. So that's why, like, there's been like some general confusion for me. But at the same time, we have this, there's just, it's a lot that was just going on there. But all in all, I mean, Nikaido, I guess, it's fun to see the doctor, and the, relink with Shin after so many years and whatnot. And Shin was like, hey, you know what? I'm giving you a chance to walk away from this. You know, don't get involved with the lizard guy, aka Kaiman. And the doctor's like, hey, man, if I didn't stick my nose in this business, none of us would be here, right? You know? Great on Noi to heal everybody. Give their limbs back, especially for a man who was turned into slime. I love how Johnson literally interjects himself like, shocking, because yes Johnson, yes, we get it, for Kayla's sake,
for me, please, just go away. Johnson,
just end it all. But yeah, I mean, Nikaido versus Kaiman was heading towards this direction. There's no, all right, so to answer a question I had for myself way earlier in our watches, there's no way in this episode are they going to get to the next episode, are they gonna like essentially get Ibisu, right, and Kaiman most likely in the same room, and Ibisu, I don't see Ibisu dying in the next episode or anything like that to undo the curse that's on Kaiman, or the curse. I mean, it's not to say that the curse on Kaiman won't be undone, but there's just a whole new wrinkle that was added because of this whole thing with N and the sorcerer that was taking heads. So to answer like my other questions I had earlier in this season was like, I'm glad that's like not the case, because I was like, what is there for Kaiman afterwards? If we just get, the answer of like who killed him and who turned him into a lizard, and it's very more multifaceted than that, because there's so many layers to it now. It's not just who turned him into a lizard. We know the magic, of course, is Ibisu, but the person who killed him is not Ibisu. I'm gonna go on a limb saying that because she just, her magic was being sold off, and without that wrinkle, it was easier to assume that, all right, well, whoever like turned him into a lizard is the person that killed him, but it's not the case anymore. Then the mystery of why did Nikaido find Kaiman headless to begin with, right? And we're going back to that too. So it's like it's a lot of moving parts.
So with that, look at it this way: from if and I personally believe we should take N's backstory with a grain of salt because it's his movie and he
Mhm.
produced it. So there is twinge bias towards himself in it. That's why
Mhm.
he says at the end, it's not finished because I have to edit in or I
Mhm.
have to put in that I defeated the cross-eyed sorcerer, right? So
Mhm.
take it with a grain of salt, right? But before I circle back to the beginning of that, with the headless man walking through the door right before Nikaido finds him, if N had, mushroomed out, like did the freak out and like it was so it like it's very possible that N did to him what he did to 13 and what we've seen him do to other sorcerers and humans,
Mhm.
and just changed his head into a mushroom. So it's very likely the sorcerer just cut off his own head
Mhm.
to get up out of there, before the mushroom completely took him over.
Mhm.
Because as you see, when he's walking through the door, you see a little piece of something sticking out of the neck hole.
Mhm.
That it's just a little neck hole. Um, Yeah, so I that's if I'm taking in En's backstory and him retelling it, and where we find the headless man before he becomes Kaiman, um, that's something to consider as a possibility. That it was his head that turned into a mushroom, and since he's all about cutting off heads and his head grows back anyway, that it's possible that he did that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, next episode's gonna be Kaiman and Nikaido. Maybe reunion for the last time for now. I mean, of course,
Mm.
until we get season 2. I can. It's crazy because yeah, waiting 6 years.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, waiting 6 years, and the story was already done. Like
Mm.
the manga was already done at this point too. So um, yeah, hopefully um they continue the anime. Uh,
Yeah, I
yeah,
hope so. At least, I mean, we'll see how season 2 fares with how Netflix rates things. It's already a show that's so under the radar and a manga that's so under the radar. When it come out, people were sort of talking about it, but they're not talking about it. It's been 6 years. It's not like Netflix is super promoting it, right?
the
And
Netflix is just the distributor. So
right,
yeah,
but for the West, I
because
don't know
Netflix and
if they're doing a
Crunchyroll both
sim.
have it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's like so I don't follow Crunchyroll on social media, so I don't
yeah,
know what their promotion for Dorohedoro has been like, but Netflix isn't promoting it. Netflix isn't even promoting one of my favorite shows right now that dropped after 2 years, and it's their third and final season, and they're not even promoting that show right now. So we know what Netflix is about. Um, I just hope that it's not one of those situations again where they're like, yeah, it did fine enough, so we're gonna wait 6 more years. You know what I mean? To hey, we're gonna back it, we're gonna distribute it. We want more of this. It's kind of in the 6 years I gave up on there being a season two. I'm sure a lot of us had. So definitely because the season two announcement last year came as a surprise to all of us. Um, for me, it's like, would I love for them to animate the entire run? Yes, because I love the first season so much. Jury's still out on season two till that wraps. But I mean, if you're just gonna string us along for another 6 years, I'm quite happy just going. Yeah, it's season three won't be in production. Just leave it alone. Um, it's sad because it definitely is, in my opinion, a very cool piece of art. I think if this I don't even want to say if this had come out now, more people would be talking about it, but I don't know, there's a lot of the themes in it, the art in it, I
if it came out
feel
on Crunchyroll first and not Netflix,
mm,
people will be talking about it.
mm,
Now mainly because of the amount of like in this day and age, the amount of gore will be
yeah,
talked
that's what I'm
about.
saying.
Yeah,
There's stuff in the show itself and themes and the art style of it and just how cool a lot of it is, the jokes that it is such a dark comedy.
yeah.
Um that we're getting laughs. It is so ridiculous, but there are such serious moments that I think would definitely hit the zeitgeist in the right way. But it's like, we'll see what happens with season two. Yeah, I think like It's definitely very refreshing. Like I said, I watched this when it first came out, so I forgot a lot of things. But rolling along and was just like, oh yeah, that's right, that happened, this happened, da 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 da. And I've watched so much stuff in the interim between then and now. Oh my God, I've watched so many things. It is 6 years of my life. But yeah. For this episode, I think it's a great episode. Again, I think taking N's story with a bit of a grain of salt, he's definitely going to skew a few things to his favor. But if we're going to take a couple things at face value, I do think it's quite interesting that like Shin, well, we're gonna say like Nikaido, right? Because we don't know where Nikaido came from originally, but she is a self-made woman up to the point where she escaped the sorcerer world and then, you know, thrived as a little girl and then, build up a business, right? So people who come from not much of anything, who come from the streets or who do what they can to survive. And he's one of those people, if we're again going to believe his story, right? So a kid whose powers manifested, didn't know he had killed his family, survived as he could. Someone sold him into slavery essentially, and then discarded once again. His anger, if we're to believe, is what allowed him to survive the journey through hell for 2 years, and counting for how powerful he is, or how powerful he wants us to perceive he is. Even though we do know that his magic is very powerful, he could turn a whole city into
Mhm.
mushrooms, right? Um, but um, yeah, that, and then, going back seeking his revenge, and it's that thing of I'm a down and out, I'm an underdog guy. All you other underdog guys, let's band together and fucking take down the establishment, right? Or not even the establishment, because like these sorcerers, it's not like that we know of is how things were running while before N was a kid, you know what I mean? We don't quite know what the sorcerer was like. We're just picking up an N story, so we don't know what the
Mhm.
power structure was essentially like. But there are bad people everywhere. Bad people are gonna take advantage of people and, do that, do all that. But yeah, it's like, well, I'm an underdog, you're an underdog too. We build a family, and this is the family that we cultivate. We're gonna start running shit, and we're gonna find our place in the world and give a big fuck you to the people that tormented us and tortured us and sold us off. So a self-made man, right? And then he becomes a self-made man of many, many talents. He starts building a criminal underground, starts amassing mass power, has restaurants as fronts, has a whole singing career, has a whole movie production. Like, he built a lot, but he built a lot off also the perceived notion of other people who are less than him and hurting other people around him, right? So it's a continued cycle of violence. When we look at the whole story about the cross-eyed sorcerer who's cutting off heads, and how that all went down, it's very fascinating to see, him come up against someone, but also showing that it took him being so powerful and not his two like heavies with Shin and Noi to take him down, right? Like he had to come in and save the day. So, how much of that is true, how much is that a lie, we don't know just yet, right? As for the city turning into, like, we get that incident coming back around that they mentioned previously. Um, and what if we are left with we have to find out why he blacked out, why he started attacking the cross-eyed sorcerer, but what between his initial attack and waking up, what happened between then? Um, and yeah, his blatant disregard for the whole city as a whole, because he just like fucking walks away and like no one's gone back to like fix anything. And his goal at the end of the day is uh to get rid of any sorcerers that are deemed less powerful through the power structure of sorcerer society, and to get the one up on his perceived rival, and someone who is encroaching in on his territory. That leads us then to believe that that is either it's possible that that's the guy who killed Risu or Risu himself. So we have two unknown variables in the Cross-Eyed gang, and no Cross-Eyed gang members to tell us what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's very fascinating. I think we're seeing more smoke abilities is very fun, and getting the world building and the lore building of all these people, all these new characters that we met. No one feels like an afterthought, which I really appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone feels essential to Kaiman and Nikaido's story and where their journey is headed. I do appreciate Shin, being a a bad guy with a heart of gold, and noticing the doctor and going, okay, you did a big one for me. You guys essentially saved my life, so I'm gonna do that for you, and I'm gonna call up my little crew. There's no point in killing you guys, but I'm a warning.
Yeah.
And I love that the doctor was just like, and I think that's just something that some of us should really take on. If I hadn't stuck my nose into a certain situation, you wouldn't be alive and we wouldn't be here. Our paths wouldn't have crossed again. Um, and I think that's also very important to, especially what everyone is doing, right? If everyone doesn't do an
Mm-hmm.
action, but it's also like these are stories that are crafted tropes. Like if I don't do an action, if I didn't run across this person in the street at one point, it's a serendipity thing, and it all swings back around to us meeting again in the future. Um, yeah, I think that that's important to note as well. That again, that's what makes Shin and Noise so likable. That there are these very caring, wonderful aspects to them, even though they're doing heinous shit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that there's a duality to these characters. Um, and yeah, I appreciate that, because you can look at them and go, yeah, that's real fucked up that you did that, but damn, boy, do you make me smile. Like, there's redeemable qualities to them,
Yeah.
mixed in with the fuck. You guys are really just fucking people up, because, and
They're for the hell
yeah,
of it.
just you guys are living in you guys are a part of a system that is fucking over other people as well, and it's crazy. Yeah, I think the situation with like Nikaido and Kaiman, obviously we know Nikaido is a little brainwashed. That's
Yeah.
why that's why she has dead eyes. She
Yeah.
has Sailor Moon
Yeah.
dead eyes. She has Sailor Moon
Yeah.
dead
Yeah.
eyes. Um, and obviously Kaiman doesn't know that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it all shakes out in the next episode, and how this falls into season 2. Um, I think Kaiman really having an existential crisis. We've been talking about it on and off. Not accepting that Nikaido's a sorcerer, even though he knows that she's a sorcerer, and still
Mm-hmm.
doing what he can to save her. Only to be confronted with, you've been killing sorcerers. They've tormented you. They tormented a lot of people. Your best friend is a sorcerer. This is actual confirmation. You cannot hide away. You can't run away from this. It's right here in black and white. And she's
Mm-hmm.
working with a guy that you're all up against. Um yeah, having that existential crisis of, is it better to just leave her here? Is this really the world for her? How can we really be friends? And it's just one of those situations that I tend to like, character beats, and
Yeah.
this happens in all things, right? With duos. Especially from duos who come from opposite side of the tracks. Oh, they're so rich, or they're in a gang, and I'll never fully understand their lives, even though we've been friends. It's the fox and the hound kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
You're a fox and I'm a hound dog. Right. So it's just, yeah, just crashing it. Just not, he didn't even crash out. It was more like, yeah, depression. But I like that, he saw her in the street, was just like, all right, picked himself up and was like, I gotta get her out of here.
Yeah.
And now it's time to confront that. So yeah. We have what, one episode left,
Episode.
and then the OVA. And then we are a few days away from season 2. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's go.
Oh man, folks. With that said, we'll catch you guys for the final episode of season 1, and stay tuned. You already know. Doses.